Hey, what's up everyone? Boozor here. Hope you guys are having a great day. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Bommel. We're going to be talking about Bommel. Probably one of the hardest Doom Tower bosses. Definitely upon release was one of the hardest ever. And we just managed to go past Heart 90, which is the highest level of Bommel so far this rotation. So I just wanted to make a guide on it, just basically like share my experience. Hopefully you guys can maybe pick up something that you guys didn't know, or if you guys are really struggling, hopefully it gives you guys some ideas on how to handle this boss. Because I have two accounts, both accounts free to play, of course, and on one of my accounts, I literally struggled on hard 90 for about 3 rotations. So that's 6 months. And on the so 3 rotations, 3 full rotations until I got the necessary champions to beat Bommel. So the problem with Bommel is that he's just so ridiculously overtuned in the beginning. He has insane insane accuracy. So it requires a lot of resistance to resist his debuffs. His debuffs do a ton of damage, and his side bombs do a ton of damage too. So you can see what the popular teams are right now. They are teams including the Rat King, Nishak, the Vermin Lord, which is the popular champion right now since it allows for speed clearing the DREADHORN. As you can see here, I have cleared it with relative ease with a 21 turn 40-second clear with Nishak, 2 ally attackers, an attack up, and a wave clear champion. I'll go over this team in a second, but I wanted to show you guys a little bit about my Bommel experience since I've had 2 accounts of full Bommel, the full range of Bommel, basically. So what's the deal with Bommel? Bommel, you can see here, we'll talk about Bommel 90 for the just because Bommel 90 is the hardest. The rest of the Bommels have been nerfed. I believe stage 10 hard was nerfed so that people could actually pass stage 10. Because in the beginning, people couldn't pass stage 10 and they were completing Doom Tower. So it just seemed a little bit overtuned, but stage 10 I believe was nerfed shortly after. But stage 90 is still the hardest Bommel and one of the hardest bosses. You really need certain champions or basically need certain champions plus gear to be able to deal with this boss effectively. So what do you not want to bring against this boss? You don't want to bring any turn meter reduction, so you don't want to bring any turn meter reduction. So like for example, Visix with her A1 reduced turn meter, you don't want to bring that because they spawn bombs. You don't want to bring Evil Eye because Evil Eye will spawn bombs too. Team buffs you don't want to bring, or you want to use them sparingly because the bombs will get stripped off by Bommel and then get replaced by unremovable bombs that deal damage to your champion. So you must use this very wisely, the team buffs. And then stacking defense over HP is also ill-advised. I believe the bomb damage explosions ignore the defense. So instead of having high defense, you want to have high HP so that HP you can soak the damage and then recover your HP through healing, ideally. So what works against Bommel? Healing. Any kind of self-healing, team healing, passive healing, all helps. Accuracy down. So if you can put accuracy down on Bommel, it reduces the chance of him landing his debuffs and gives you the opportunity to resist. So we can see on stage 90 hard, his accuracy is 750. If you put accuracy down on him, his accuracy becomes 375, which means he can be resisted with about 500 resistance, which is more obtainable. Obviously not easy for a full team to resist him, but you will have a chance to resist him with proper gearing. Next, you can have remove debuffs. He does place debuffs on you, so it's a good idea to remove them, like the stuns. Stuns he places on you, you wanna be able to remove them somehow. Bringing revivers obviously speaks for itself. Reviving your team when they take super high amounts of damage to bring them back into the fight. High HP, I just discussed high HP over defense. And then you want to bring damage reduction in the form of maybe passives or abilities that give your champions a better chance to survive. So this is kind of like the gist of Bommel. He has just insane accuracy, and you want to. It's hard to resist him, so you want to be able to either accuracy down him or just ignore his accuracy because it's really hard to resist. So I managed to look up, just make a quick one-stop shop for anybody looking for a comp to deal with Bommel. So these are the solo champions that I was able to come across. I know there's maybe one or two other options, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. So obviously the most popular one is Crimson Helm. Is an epic champion. I actually don't have this champion, and I never use this champion to clear Bommel, even though it's probably the most well-documented and most used champion to deal with Bommel in solo. So it's a manual fight. But basically the gist is if you can hit these stats, stage 90, if you can hit these stat requirements, I'll move my head. If you can hit these stat requirements and basically manual the fight, it takes about 20 to 25 minutes. Your damage comes from War Master. Crimson Helm can go through all stages of Bommel, but it does take a little bit of patience. But it is also the most consistent champion to do so. On a, I guess, accessible champion since it's an epic. So you're looking at 65, 70k HP, 3k defense, regen immortal gear. You need the self-healing, and then you need to set her up by having your team die, having the right masteries, so Whirlwind of Death, Spirit Haste, and an Ursula aura, so a speed aura. You're looking for a speed at around 176, 187, and you're looking for in-game speed of 238.4. So there's some parameters to hit. You're basically trying to time your skills to the bombs detonating from Bommel, and then you're placing block damage to absorb the damage, basically. It's a painful way to do Bommel, but it is the way to do Bommel. So the way that I had to do Bommel, because I never had Crimson Helm for like 9 months, I had to use Templar, which is a farmable rare. It's a farmable rare in campaign, and it's a spirit champion just like Crimson Helm. Except the problem with this guy is that he doesn't have like a secondary failsafe like Crimson Helm, because Crimson Helm has a revive on death as well as a block damage. So he just has the block damage, and also his A1 places a decreased speed on Bommel, which actually can mess up the speed tune of everything. So it was really painful if Templar messes up the speed, places the speed down on his A1, even with no accuracy, and yeah, it just gets really ugly. But there are some instances where you can recover, where the speed down doesn't really mess everything up, but sometimes the speed down can just totally throw everything off. It's kind of hard to explain. It's gonna take you a couple tries. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Like, it took me a lot of tries, but it was my only option to go through Bommel 90. It's a pain in the butt. You need regen, immortal gear. These are the stats I pulled off of Cold Brew. Cold Brew has released a video showcasing it initially, so this is the first time I've seen it in an actual working build. There are other videos with a much slower Templar attempting to do Bommel, I believe up to 90 maybe, but all the builds that I've tried have never worked. They've never worked. It could be my own user error, but I spent so much time trying to kill this boss that the only one that worked was the build that Cold Brew put out on video, and I provide the link here. It's a little bit small, but it's here. And these are screen clips from his video. So my Templar is dismantled now, so I don't have the gear on, but this is what he was using. About 70k HP, 3k defense, 240 speed is what you want, and then you want Spirit Haste, Whirlwind of Death, and the Ursula lead. So you want the speed lead, you want your team there, and you want your team to die off. You want Templar to be the only guy going into Bommel for the solo fight. So obviously same type of setup as Crimson Helm, but Templar, it brings a little bit extra RNG into the fight. It can be frustrating, but honestly it's a farmable rare. It was my only option, and yeah, I mean, it's just kind of the things you do for an extra legendary book, extra sacred, right? It's just you just do your best. But I mean, if you guys are struggling, this is one way. If you guys can hit the stats, and this is the only way you guys got, then it's worth a shot. Because you're basically locked out of like a sacred and maybe two legendary books if you can't pass Bommel 90, and you can beat the other content. So I hope that helps. I mean, if I knew about this long in the first rotation, I probably would have went for a Templar instead of trying all these other strats. Um, because my account, I'll go over this in a second, but I'll go. But basically, this is my only way on my main on my old my secondary account. So these are the other solo Abo champions. So Lady Annabelle is a new champion. She can solo this boss as well. Her gearing looks very accessible from what I've seen. It's similar to Templar, where you want similar to Templar and Crimson Helm. I believe 240 speed also works on Lady Annabelle, and then you want the regen immortal high HP type build on her, and she can just solo the thing. I think full auto. So she's definitely somebody to look out for. So another popular one is Samar, Gem Cursed. He can solo this as well. He needs to be fast. Even faster in this is even preferred with high speed, regen immortal, and obviously high HP stats. I believe it's full auto for him, so that's one thing that's better than Crimson Helm and Templar, where it's full auto. Helicath also, I believe about 240 speed, similar stats, and can full auto. So, and finally, like in terms of like overall difficulty, Kyoku can do it. But I believe her total speed needs to be closer to 300 speed with the regen gear. So in terms of just ease and accessibility and gearing, Lady Annabelle is going to be the easiest. And then these two would be the most accessible probably because Crimson Helm is super old champion. You might have one in the vault. And Templar is a farmable champion. But obviously the gear will be pretty intensive. So not everyone will be able to pass Bommel 90 just based on gear. But these are some options if you have them in the vault and you have no other clue about how to deal with this. There's definitely guides all over the internet on these champions, so definitely look them up. They might help you out. So you can also go for a team to deal with Bommel. So I just have an example of the teams that I was using. So the Resistance team, Geomancer for your main DPS, Vogoth, Duchess, Mithrala, and Sifi. So all of these have high resistance, and then you have the accuracy down from Geomancer to make basically Bommel ineffective against killing this team at all, and then Geomancer will cut him down pretty quick. The second team is a full healing team. This is also another type of team that I had to deal with, except I did not have Vogoth, which is the key champion against this boss. If you guys don't have Vogoth and you guys don't have solo champions, it's very hard to make a team to deal with him. Vogoth is the key. I've tried Master Butcher, two Master Butchers, Master Butcher, two Vrask. I've tried Aniri, like all sorts of combinations to deal with Bommel, but without Vogoth's constant healing from his passive, it's almost impossible, I feel, to deal with this guy in a team format. So I made a team. This team works. Full healing team. They basically have like no resistance, no accuracy. They just heal themselves either passively or A1s or just very easily. They don't really buff themselves, and then you slowly whittle down the boss with War Master procs, for example. It takes about 10 minutes. It can be auto. It can also be manual. Depends on your gear, right? So if you want to go in there and you're over geared for the content, you just click auto, and this type of team will easily slowly go through Bommel, for example. Okay, so the most popular build right now is actually a build revolving around the Rat, the Nishak Vermin Lord, the Rat King, and it's kind of a team that looks like this. So I'll bring it back. It's kind of a team that looks like this. So you have the Rat in the lead, you have an Arbiter with or another attack up champion, and then you have 1, 2, or 3 ally attack champions. I've seen all 3 variations, and I'll explain why you go one or the other. So if you have 3 ally attack champions, you may fail or you may struggle against the waves. The second wave is actually a little bit more difficult because it's a little bit more tanky. And Nishak, you ideally don't want to use his A3 skill, which is the skill that he uses to bomb Bommel. So it might fail or it might be very slow. So I'll show you guys what I did for. So this team, I used 3 ally attack champions. So I got the Rat Arbiter, Ally Attack, Ally Attack, Ally Attack. So these Ally Attack champions, they actually don't need to be leveled up. They don't need to be anything. Obviously, they will die against waves, but Arbiter can revive them. So you need no commitment to these champions. Nishak, in this team, he is actually not even booked. He's not even fully booked. He has no masteries. He's not fully booked. And the thing with this fight is that it took. Yeah, so the rat is not booked, he's not mastered. It just takes a bit more tries because you lose the debuff chance on the rat. So yeah, it just takes a little bit more chance to fail, but you just do this a couple times. It's free with the key. Obviously, you want to conserve your resources, and then yeah. So this is the run I had. I'm just going to do this once, and then that's it. So that's one team with triple ally attack. The other team that's much faster that I have is actually double attack, double ally attack. Similar type of team, except I have a wave clear this time, and Nishak is fully booked and mastered. I believe he's fully mastered. Sorry. I believe he's fully mastered. Yes, he is fully mastered. So, and this team I did 40 seconds, 21 turns. So I have that on video here, so I'll show you guys what I did. So here's the run. Hope you guys enjoy. It's actually pretty awesome. But basically what you guys want to do is have your whole team roughly around 220 speed. You want the rat around 220 speed. You want all your ally attackers faster than the rat, and then you want your attack up to go first, ideally. So the way this works is the arbiter in this case will buff the team. Your ally attack champions will basically send the rat in attacking into Bommel, and then the rat will start placing the bombs. And you must have the attack up on the rat so that the bombs applied will have the attack up. So that's the key. That's important. And from my experience, you need at least 8 bombs to kill Bommel in one hit. If that fails, there is a chance that the Bommel will die from poisons if you have a team that can survive one hit from Bommel. So in my fight with Cardio, my other team with triple attack and Cardio, I used Cardio's Revive on Death to soak up one hit from Bommel, and then I survived, and then the poisons ended up killing Bommel. Just because that team was so janky, like the rat's not booked, not mastered, it's just a janky team, right? And I was using as little resources as I can. So, but this team is a lot more fluid. It's obviously a lot better. So we'll just watch it to the end here. Buff, ally attack, bombs going in. Ally attack, bombs going in. Ishak uses his A3, double turn, more bombs, got 8, and the weaken. And that's it. That's it. Easy game, right? Easy game. So obviously I'm using my ethos to help with the waves, and then after that is just when you hit the Bommel, when you get to Bommel, you just gotta hope the RNG is on your side, and you're placing the bombs on your A1, because the A1 is a triple hit, but it's only 40% chance fully booked. So you're gonna have to hit at least 2 of them on his hits to have a shot. So just going over like the stats on the rat, basically aim for 6k attack if possible. I've seen it done with even less. So right now I have 6.3k. I mean, you can do it with probably 6k. Maybe even less, maybe 5.5k, but then you might need 1 extra bomb. accuracy, enough accuracy to land. All the stats on your other champions don't really matter, to be honest. As long as you have something to deal with the waves, you have an Arbiter and an attack up champion. Arbiter is great because she has the revive and she has a weaken, which kind of helps. Um, Defense down doesn't help bomb damage, but weaken helps. So if you guys can land that, that helps. But yeah, so this is the rat that worked for me. I mean, this is an awesome team. This guy is a lifesaver for everyone. He's a fusion. He was a tough fusion. Around Christmas time, he was a traditional fusion champion, so it was a little bit harder. But I hope you guys got him. I hope this guide was helpful. I offered as much help as I could towards Bommel because I know he's a pain in the butt. I had a really hard time against him for a long time, but moving forward, he should be no issues for me as well with the Rat King. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys found it useful. If you guys liked it, make sure you guys let me know in the comments below. If you guys wanted to see something else, if you guys have a different strategy, I would love to hear it. And yeah. In the meantime, best of luck on your sharp pulls if you guys are pulling, and I will see you guys in the next video.